Welcome to the amazing world of pressing to a handstand. To be able to slowly raise your body from right side up to upside down into a perfectly straight balanced handstand seems to require superhuman strength. And it does require a fair amount of strength, but it's actually much easier than you might think if you apply the proper techniques and progressions. I'm Olympic gymnast Lance Ringnald. Today we're going to learn to master the press to a handstand. Pressing to a handstand will engage many muscle groups, but primarily the shoulder muscles and your back muscles. A press to handstand requires just as much flexibility as it does strength, so it's extremely helpful to be flexible. The more flexible you are, the easier the press to a handstand is. This will become much more clear as you watch the video. There are a few ways to execute a press to handstand. We can start from a stand and press into our handstand. We can start on our knees and slide into our press handstand. We can do a press to a handstand with our legs together, and we can also start from many different positions to press into our handstand. But the method and the techniques are all the same for all the different versions of the press to handstand. To master the press handstand, it's very helpful to be able to hold a still handstand for at least a few seconds. If you'd like to see how to improve and master your handstand, please check out my video on the perfect handstand. I'll leave a link in the description. We start by standing with our legs slightly apart, and then we lean forward and place our hands on the ground, just in front of our feet, about shoulder width apart. Our head should be slightly lifted, and the eyes should focus on one point on the ground just in front of our hands. We then lean our shoulders slightly forward. Take a closer look at the shoulder angle here. We have to get our butt over our head as high as possible. To do this, we push down on the floor and push our shoulder angle as open as we can before lifting your feet off the ground. Our back should be slightly rounded. We should pike our hips and body as much as possible, and our shoulders should start to move slightly forward while sliding our butt as high as we can over our head. As our butt raises over our head and our shoulders have leaned forward, we should start to push our shoulders backward into the vertical position. We can bring our legs together, and we have completed the press to a handstand. The more we pike our body, the closer our legs will move towards our chest, and this allows us to lift our butt extremely high over our head. The more we pike our body and straddle our legs, the less we have to lean forward and the less strength the press handstand requires. This is how flexibility makes the press handstand much easier. We should always be pushing away from the floor. We have to get our butt over our head as much as possible. If you struggle to lift your butt high over your head during a press, try standing on a small step or a raised area like this step. The butt is already very high over the head. This will help us get stronger in the correct position and technique to master the press to handstand. Imagine doing a press to handstand between two narrow walls. The more narrow the walls are, the better technique you're applying to do a press to a handstand. So always try to think of staying between two narrow walls during your press to a handstand. When we look closely at a press to a headstand, we can see our butt is already much more over our head because we are starting with our head on the ground. When we get strong enough and more efficient at getting our butt over our head, you can see the body almost does the press by itself. I don't suggest anybody try this drill, as it's very dangerous for your neck. A proper perfect press to handstand is done with completely straight arms. If we look at a bent arm handstand, we can see that very much like the press to a headstand, when we bend our arms, it allows us to raise our butt higher over our head before lifting our feet off the ground. That's why many people will bend their arms when they first start working on the press to a handstand. Always try to keep your arms straight in a press to handstand, but if you can't yet, as you practice and get stronger and apply the proper techniques to the press handstand, you will eventually be able to keep your arms straight throughout the entire press to a handstand. Another great drill to get strong in the handstand is press pushaways. Lean forward and put your hands on the floor and start just like you're doing a press handstand, but press your feet out about 6 inches to a foot. Do this over and over, and this will strengthen your shoulders just like a press handstand, as if you're pushing up to a handstand, but in this case you're pushing away. Here's another great drill to get stronger at your press to a handstand. Put your hands a little distance away from a wall. If they're too close to the wall, you won't be able to press up to a handstand. So try to find the closest distance for your hands to the wall that still allow you to press up to a handstand against the wall. In this exercise, your shoulders are going to lean much more forward than they would if just doing a regular press to a handstand without a wall. But that's okay. It will still strengthen the proper techniques to press to a handstand. You can also have a friend or a coach help you with this drill. They will use their knee as the wall, and they will help you rotate your hips from the pike position into the press handstand. They can also help you control how far forward your shoulders will lean as you press to a handstand. Another great drill is to stand with your butt facing a wall and press to a handstand next to the wall while straddling your legs wide enough so that you don't hit the wall with your feet. When you lower down from the handstand, try to place your feet as close to your hands as possible. Another great exercise is to kick to a handstand and do a reverse press, or to slowly lower down from the handstand, going through the position of the press to a handstand in reverse. The better your technique is, the less strength is required to press to a handstand. These are sliders that move along carpet very easily, often used to move furniture in a house, but we can also use cardboard as well. We can step on the sliders and move into the prone position, and then slowly slide our feet up towards our hands while lifting our butt as high as we can over our head. You can move across the floor, or you can stay in one place and do this drill. This will strengthen your shoulders and the proper press technique for pressing into the handstand. Another exercise to get strong in the shoulders and the muscles that we're going to use for a press handstand is to simply lift weights in the motion and position that we use in the press handstand. You can do both short range motion in front of you and also long range motion, lifting the weights completely over your head. Just as we do with a handstand, use your fingers and palms to grip into the floor or the surface you're doing a press on and help you go to a handstand. It's just as important to be flexible when doing a press handstand as it is to be strong doing a press handstand. The more flexible you are, the easier a press to a handstand is. Our flexibility allows our legs to spread and go around the side as much as possible. The better balance you have during your press, the less energy is required to complete the press to handstand. Just try to do 5 or 10 minutes of presses each day. Over time, you're going to get stronger. It will become much more natural to your body. Do me a favor, if you found any value in this video or this video helped you, please like and subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more content and teach more skills. Remember, keep it fun. We always learn better when we're having fun. See you soon.